Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon.
And I am Marcus Mack, and this is the EAC Show, episode 46, coming to you live from sunny South Florida. How you doing, Emilio?
I'm doing good, Marcus Mack. We got some topics to talk about on our EAC Headlines Wednesday show. Marcus Mack, I know you saw it on our social media page. I posted a post about MLB and their chance to finally grab fans or reintroduce fans to the beautiful game of baseball, the game that I love so much, Marcus Mack. And MLB is just dropping the ball. They're just fumbling the ball every time, every opportunity to get over. Like, in my opinion, I mean, don't get it twisted. Player safety is the number one concern, Marcus Mack.
Number one concern.
But you're fumbling the ball over peanuts. You owners make so much money. Let's be realistic here.
Well, you know, we want to call it peanuts, but when you look at it from the player's standpoint, it's not peanuts at all. And I think it's a mixture of the owners giving horrible proposals and the players just not willing to take it. Read it at all. Okay, so this is an article that we read from a site. It says players clearly thought it was while the ownership side preferred to frame it as an effort to do the right by the largest numbers of players, it had the complete opposite effect. So while the owners had this idea in their mind that we can do a 50-50 pay cut, a 50-50 pay cut from your original pay, let's just say you was getting $10 million. So now 50-50 would be you'll get $5 million, which that's definitely not the number because these guys are making astronomical numbers, right? The percentage, when you up the percentage because they're not playing their full season, it's being deducted. Just to give you an idea, we're going to get further into the numbers later on into the show, but to give you an idea, it's almost like going from $10 million to $2 million, and it's horrible for the players. Horrible.
Marcus Mack, let me explain something to you. When you and I are working something out, when we both make money together, and we constantly want to make money together, when stuff comes up, we can always figure out a way to figure out the money later. Like, yo, listen, you know what? I'll pay it to you on the back end. Or when the money come back in, we'll just add an extra amount every little by little so you can get the amount that's due to you. That happens all the time in life. All the time in life.
And all the time in business. Things
right.
Change a lot in business.
You let people borrow money. They're a good customer. They're not able to pay. Hey, listen, let's figure out a way. You've been doing business with me for over 20, 25 years. Let's figure out something. Maybe we add longer terms to the loan at a smaller number, stretch it out, whatever. This happens all the time. This is not that big of a deal. The fact that the owners thought that these players were going to take 50% agreement proposals is a smack in the face. And it goes to show you how far off the owners are in comparison to what the players think.
Yeah. I mean, the owners, what the owners are projecting is that the fans in those seats are 40% of the revenue, right? Approximately 40%.
That's fine. Right? I don't disagree with that.
So what if they was to say, well, hey, listen, we need to deduct let's just say the players and the owners take part, ownership of that 40% and say, okay,
let's 20 apiece.
20. The players take 20% pay cut because, like I said, like we spoke about with the MLB time after time again. The thing with the MLB, there is no cap.
Yeah.
There is no salary cap, right? And
which is great.
Which is fine. Once we make an agreement, this agreement is locked in until the next contractual agreement, right? So now that since you don't have the clause set in place for these types of situations, now we have to sit down at the table and make a reasonable business agreement, which me as a businessman, I feel like that makes a lot more sense than cutting the season, taking 50% and then trying to cut that 50% even lower. That doesn't make any sense, especially when, now mind you, coming from a business owner standpoint, I understand what they're saying. I put the money up. You guys are taking the risk. But without the players, there is no game. And there are no fans in those seats, right?
I really do.
Them out there, they taking a big risk.
I really do feel like Marcus Mack, the fact that you put on that Yankee jersey has made you extremely smart today because you nailed it on the head, Marcus Mack, while he sips his yak right now. Let me explain something to you. You nailed it on the head. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The players could sit there and say, you know what? My salary's guaranteed. I don't have to play. You're going to have to pay me whether you pay me now or whether you pay me later. My money has to come. You need us to come to an agreement to be able to help you out. It's not the other way around.
Yeah. So just for the, Amelia, I want you to keep going here, but just for the viewers at home on YouTube, right? I want you to just take a second here and just look at these numbers, right?
Astronomical. It's astronomical. The person that benefits the most, Marcus Mack, is the person that makes $500,000 to $1 million because they don't really see that much of a pay cut. But if you make ridiculous amount of money, there is no real reason for you to even want to get on the field under this new proposal. Now, Marcus Mack, this I do know for a fact, Major League Baseball is centered around being able to play the game by July 4th. They want July 4th to be their opening day. It's a national holiday. They can have all eyes on them. That's what Major League Baseball wants. They want to be open by July 4th, opening day for them this year. They want the 4th of July to be their day. Now, in all actuality, Marcus Mack, I think it's a brilliant idea. But the problem is you have to make these players want to come out on the field.
Want to play. And the whole thing I wanted to show anybody watching home on YouTube, and you can actually see what I'm pulling up on the screen, is I want you to see how these numbers actually look. So you can have a visual here. Now you have players like Jarrett Cole and Mike Trout who are making up close to $40 million, right? Yes. So when you look at this chart, right, you can see the issue that these guys are having.
It's not worth it.
Issue. Because when you bring a number down from 35, 36, 39 million dollars, and you bring that way down to 5 million, 4 million, from any man's standpoint, I don't care how bright you are, how reasonable you might be, that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Mack, that's like literally you're asking the worker who's earned the amount of money that they've agreed to. They've agreed to this. You've agreed to pay them, and they have earned it, and you're asking this worker to now perform at the best of his ability, regardless of whether getting the COVID-19 or not. Give me your full effort at such a discounted price.
Right. Yeah. All because we all are taking a loss right now because of this COVID-19, and we all want to get back to appealing to the fans. But come on, man.
Marcus Mack, listen, I applaud a lot of people out there that's doing their thing. Came out today that the Dodgers are cutting staff salary in order to avoid layoffs. The Oakland A's are going to start furloughing some staff members and cutting salary. But they're going to bring them back eventually. I get that certain concessions have to be made for the betterment of the sport and for the betterment of the organization. And I totally get it and I totally understand it. But at the end of the day, you have no product if you do not have the players.
Exactly. The player is essentially the product. The players are the product. The players playing the game is the product.
Now, Marcus Mack, I sent you a video. Shout out to Tomboy Media. They do an amazing job over there talking Yankees. Those guys over there do an amazing job with the edits of the clips. And it was an old video of Ruben Tejada getting his leg broken by Chase Utley. Now, Marcus Mack, I didn't send you that video to see his leg being broken. I sent you that video to send you another video afterwards, which showed Noah Syndergaard trying to hit Chase Utley with a baseball, failed miserably. But then all of a sudden, that audio of the confrontation on the mound between the umpires, Syndergaard, and former Mets manager Terry Collins was all recorded and the audio was leaked on YouTube. So many people were able to hear it. It's called Our Asses in the Jackpot for all those people that are out there listening and have never seen it. It's called Our Asses in the Jackpot. Now, Marcus Mack, that type of baseball, that type of sound is what everybody wants to hear and see.
And I tell you what, if the owners want to be so savvy, right? If they want to be so business savvy, if right now in this time, if they think they're losing money, I can guarantee you with that kind of entertainment, with that audio that we heard, they're going to make so much money. Because that right there is what every baseball fan wants to hear. They want to hear that. They want to hear that.
Tell me what you thought when you first saw it.
I loved his energy. That's what I first thought. I said, he sounds like me. Because he wasn't going for it. He wasn't going for it at all. When the manager came on that field, he did not come to play.
So my thing is, Marcus Mack, for a guy like that, and that's your manager, you're his player. What do you want to do? You want to run through a damn brick wall for him, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. He did not come to play at all. I applauded him. And you know what? There was so much emotion built up in that one video. Can you imagine how much videos they probably would have just like that for every game? Like, just in one game, as a matter of fact.
So here's my thing. Now, while that is a priceless moment to show the love of the game and the passion for the game, and you will do anything for your guys and this, that, and third, could you imagine a manager asking their guys to go out there when they're miserable because they know they're not making the money that they're supposed to be making?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you manage that as a manager?
You don't manage it. You know what you got to do? You got to sit down with your player and have a serious talk about what we're going to have to settle for. And say, listen, this is the deal. And because, in any business deal, no matter who has the leverage, there always has to be a point where it's like, okay, we have to appeal to these guys. Because let's just say these players' associations was just to get together and say, hey, listen, how about this? We just boycott the whole thing. I don't want to catch COVID. I'm staying home.
There's no player that would disagree with it if that was voted against, because all of the players in the MLB contracts are fully guaranteed. So they could be chilling at home, working out, chilling with their family, having a whole year off, and they're still going to get their bread one way or another.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I'm quite sure that a lot of these players could get some kind of self-help workout endorsement from just working out at home. I'm quite sure.
You know what these players are going to do, Marcus Mack? These players are going to go to another level, and they're going to start exploring off-the-field opportunities at even a younger age. They're going to become entrepreneurs younger.
And as a manager, that is what I will be doing. I will be exploring other options outside of the league. And I'm telling you, this year, 2020, for not just the MLB, the NFL, NBA, soccer, we're talking about every player for major league sports. They're going to start getting into other forms of business. If they're going to wake up now, they're going to wake up because this right here woke a lot of people up. You found out what businesses actually had the leverage, what brands actually had the leverage. Why? Because in times like this, people are not spending their money in the same places. So you start to wonder, okay, how do I have a foolproof business, a foolproof revenue, so I don't run into a brick wall like this? Because
a recession-proof business,
even
a pandemic business.
Even in this time, the sports players not even making their money. We talking about $40 million down to $5 million, and to some people it's saying, well, it's $5 million. No, because let me tell you something. This is coming for. We're gonna go to promo, and then we're gonna go to the next topic. I just want to say this from a homeowner standpoint. You have mortgage, you have utilities,
insurance,
you have miscellaneous expenses, you have homeowners insurance, you have pool, you have lawn stuff,
you name it,
maintenance. You have all of this different stuff going on. Plus, you have your kids, you have school, you have payments out the you know what. You understand what I'm saying? And when these people start making this kind of money, they start having a lifestyle that they have to maintain. And
I really do feel like MLB is dragging their feet on this. I really do feel like they're approaching the players the wrong way. You're wasting time. This is the best sport on the planet to me. You're wasting time. You're wasting time.
And these guys do not have no space to be losing that kind of money because you guys want, because if you let me tell it, I feel like as if they're making the players take the biggest L because they don't want to take the big L, and then they're gonna try to make it seem like as if, well, we have to take this money and reinvest it into something else. No,
Marcus Mack, before we get into promo, I want to just bring up this one question that we talked about in the pre-show.
Right.
If they're doing these numbers based off projections, and these projections are saying how much they're going to lose, what if they lose less than what they thought they were going to lose? Are you going to end up giving the players back more money?
See, now, I think that should be a big part. That should be the elephant in the room. When the negotiations are made, that should be the elephant in the room. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you guys say you're going to lose this much money. Let's just say you actually make more money than you think you're going to make. Are we going to get any piece of that? Because obviously you just turned us from just players to business partners since we're taking the same L, right? So if we're taking the same L, I'm quite sure we should be making the same gains as well, right?
By the way, MLB, I haven't asked for a refund on my MLB package, and I won't because I want to support the game. So I'm not going to ask you for no refund on my credit or whatever it may be when I paid for the whole season already and I ain't get a game yet.
Big shout outs. I know the situation is different, but big shout outs to Vince McMahon for paying back all of that money that everybody lost. He wants to keep his people. He wants to keep his people happy.
So this part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or a bunch of croquetas that my man Marcus Mack loves to have. You can have a natural shot of that pre-workout, that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC, and that's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. Marcus Mack, this is our Wednesday episode. This is episode 46. EAC headlines. Let's get into the Marcus Mack.
EAC headlines. We are back again. UFC, what's up, Dana White?
Dana White is such, like...
relentless. Relentless.
Dude, he's like the dude that you would see at Diamond Dogs and be like, yo, let's get some drinks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like your boy. You never see him because he's always working, and you find out something that he did, and you finally see him, and you say, you. Yeah, so the Nevada Commission approves for UFC to bring their energy back to Vegas. So we can expect to see UFC back in Vegas May 30th and May 6th. I believe those are two fights that's coming.
June 6th?
June 6th, excuse me, May 30th and June 6th at the UFC Apex facility. So
Marcus Mack, I'm really happy that this is happening, and I'm really happy and excited this is happening because we're finally getting some momentum of stuff starting to have actual dates and times when they're going to go. I mean, Dana White has been a pioneer from the very beginning trying to get the UFC back with fans, without fans, as safely as possible. You know, they've actually had somebody tested for COVID, and they had to take him off the show, and literally the show just went on. It just went on. Like, move this guy to the side. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep going. Like, you know what I mean? No hiccups, you know? So I'm glad to see this going. But, Marcus Mack, not for nothing, I am excited to see when they have to open up Fight Island to bring in these international fighters and let them fight at Fight Island.
Yeah, I mean, is that still a goal?
Yes, because the fighters aren't allowed to come from other countries into this country yet. So he still has Fight Island for his international fighters that are not in the United States to be able to come from, you know, Europe, France, Russia, China, all those countries to be able to fly in.
And that is how the entrepreneurial spirit works. You run into a problem and you start finding all kinds of solutions. And now, boom, just like that.
That's why we love Dana White.
We love him. We love him. And now we have not only a solution to a problem, but now we can carry this on into even after this pandemic. It just changed things, and we can't say this enough, that this year, people are looking at this year as such a bad year, but this year is going to bring so much light to so much people's lives, because it's going to redefine the way not only we look at things, but the way we do things. And I can guarantee you, next year is going to be a whole lot better than it is this year.
It's making people think outside the box. People have to get creative, and they have to do new things in order to come up with new scenarios. Dana White's idea, Fight Island, changes everything, because Dana White can supersede actual fighting commissions, state commissions, all types of stuff. He don't have to answer to nobody on his own island. He can do whatever he wants. If he got a group of guys that keep failing tests and they get caught for steroids and cocaine and all types of drugs, and they can't fight in the UFC, he can literally take them to the Fight Island where there's no rules.
And you know what? As soon as people start seeing, the upper ups, the people that has some kind of control, as soon as they start seeing, oh, this guy is doing a little bit more than we thought, they're going to try to step in. They're going to try to shake something. They're going to try to shake up some people's feathers and, shake up some champagne. And, they're going to try to make some bubbles and make some,
Marcus Mack, between you and I think Dana White's just trying to get to his next bag. He did an amazing job of selling UFC for $4 billion, ended up pocketing around $400 million, ended up staying on as president. If you really think about it, if he can recoup a lot of that money, which he has already did with his major deal with ESPN, with his major deal with the fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor that gave him a boatload of cash that they weren't even expecting in the first place, he's literally trying to get to the next bag, and I don't blame him. He is smart. He's extremely smart. You're already the president of UFC. You can literally be I think it's called the Emirates of it, and have somebody else be the president, where you just lay back and chill like the guy who runs Formula One and doesn't pay no attention to the sport whatsoever. He just kicks back with his beautiful women and walks around like he's the man, because he sits there and he says, I don't even have to promote Formula One. Formula One does its own thing on its own. That's the level of cockiness that you want to get to. And I think Dana White is really trying to do that. He's really trying to figure it out. And shout outs to him and the UFC for putting on these fights and finding ways to make it happen in this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah, thanks a lot for figuring it out, because I tell you one thing, if you leave it up to the guys who's just trying to make the money, it won't get figured out. There'll be a whole lot of money missing and a whole lot of problems. But when you got people that's willing to innovate, people that's willing to think outside of the box, they're making it a whole lot better for themselves, business-wise, and as well as the fans.
Dana White, don't take that rocket out of your ass, yo. Keep that shit up in your ass so you make shit happen.
Okay, so next on the EAC headlines, there's been a bit of a change, not as yet, but it's something that was spoke about by the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, about changing the tournament for the upcoming season. The season is coming back in June, I believe, and they want to do a different way that they do the tournament to bring back in the season.
Correct, Marcus Mack. So Mark Cuban went on record the other day, basically saying that there's going to be a new tournament format to where one would play 16, two would play 15, three would play 14, four would play 13, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they also wanted to have two teams be able to play in some way, shape, or form. So two teams on the outside trying to play in to be able to get to the playoffs. So Marcus Mack, this is more done in college basketball playoff formats, and this is going to create some type of excitement. But somebody's going to get the wrong end of the stick on this case. And the way the record works out right now, LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers will be the number 2 seed in the conference, in the division, and they're going to fall and play teams that are going to be very, very tough to beat. It's not going to be easy. So Marcus Mack, I know I saw Damian Lillard came out and said that he's all for the the play-in games to be able to try to make that tournament seed. So, I'm happy that the NBA is trying to figure out they're most likely going to play in Orlando at Disney Resort because Disney is their biggest sponsor as well. So we'll see if it ends up happening. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to watching these games.
Yeah, well, it's a little abstract, but I think with the circumstances, I think it's definitely perfect. It's definitely a perfect lineup. It's just we definitely gotta work with the scenario that we're given, and I think it was like he said, it's perfect. It's perfect.
You gotta figure out a way to make lemonade.
And they definitely did. You see the great minds. Everybody knows Mark Cuban for the Dallas Mavericks as well as Shark Tank and books that he's written. And I think Mark Cuban, there was talks about him running for president, but his family's not with it.
Yeah, he did say on Pat McAfee show, shout out to those boys. They do a good job on that show. He did say on the Pat McAfee show that he would not run for president consider running for president until his kids were a little bit older, because he doesn't want to put them through that. He wants to wait till maybe they're a little bit older, and then he'll decide whether or not to run the country.
Yeah. Well, big shout outs to him, man. Big shout outs to Mark Cuban, Pat McAfee. Shout outs to those guys. Big shout outs to Vince McMahon. Shout outs to Dana White and all these guys making these huge moves, man, and making sure that we entertained. So,
Marcus Mack, before we go to the next one, I want to give a big shout out to Tom Brady too.
Yeah, big shout out to Tom Brady. That's definitely the last topic. Tom Brady with his infamous brick swing on the golf course. He's got this pimped out Escalade. I was talking to Emilio, to all the listeners. I was talking to Emilio about this truck. I love the back of this truck. It holds maybe about 5 people, 4 people comfortably. It's just I'm lost for the word. What do you call it again?
Tricked out?
Tricked out, yeah. It's it's definitely tricked out. But he spent $300,000 on this truck. It's pretty much a limo that they just customed. That's the word I was thinking. How did you get custom? It's custom.
Marcus Mack, this damn thing looks like the inside of a luxury plane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this thing is beautiful, man. It looks like it has marble inside. It looks like it has marble. Yeah, this thing is gorgeous.
It's like when somebody walks into the house, like back in the day, and they touch your furniture, and they touch like the blanket, the nice blanket that you have on the couch, and like, what is that? Velvet?
Butter soft. Butter soft. You gotta tell them, no, that's a mixture of Alcantara and velour.
Jesus, like is that llama skin? What is that?
Yeah, it's like a million stitch.
But that Escalade is really dope, and shout out to Tom Brady. We have a lot of fun with Tom Brady on the show. We're so looking forward to seeing Tom Brady perform this NFL coming up season, Marcus Mack. And the NFL did come out and say that they're looking forward to getting the season started with or without fans. It don't matter. They're saying it's going to go on 100%.
Yeah. Well, one thing for sure, they're definitely going to get it because the fire is under there, what. And they need to get that money back rolling. And nothing happens if they're not on that screen and people are not watching. So they got to make something happen. So I can't wait to see how they go about it.
Yeah, Marcus Mack, that's going to conclude episode 46 of the EAC Show. Make sure you check out episode 47. Click like and subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Make sure you drop a comment on Instagram. Let us know. We appreciate the engagement. And we'll check you guys out. Episode 48. Marcus Mack, I appreciate you, buddy.
All right.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.